COVID-19 pandemic shone a harsh light on the many ills of the country's mass transport system and the failings of many administrations to cure these ills. The present administration now has the burden of finding remedies to problems both old and new. And under new is now how to make transport safe against a life-threatening disease. What remedies and cures are present authorities planning to administer or are now administering? And how? And why?
The importance of having an efficient mass transport system has been underscored by how communities and the economy are struggling to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. The DOTR has been playing a central role in efforts to contain the contagion, as well as to revive an economy brought to near standstill by an infectious and deadly disease. Early on, it became apparent that mass transport needs to be upgraded, modernized, and made more efficient as well as safe, adapted to a world under threat of daily contagion. The DOTR has responded to the challenge with initiatives that seem to have been in answer to this call made by Asian Development Bank President Masatsugu Asakawa. The transport sector must emerge from the coronavirus disease 2019 pandemic as a driver of sustainable growth with three critical factors in mind. SDG, which in this case stands for Safety, Data, and Green. The DOTR realized early in the pandemic that mass transport can easily be a vector for transmission and that it can't remain shut down, but safety must be the first priority. Mass transportation modes were resumed in phases, and only those that could operate under physical distancing protocols, and given priority for transport modes in line with the government's transport modernization program. Even still under community quarantine restrictions, the DOTR has actively promoted the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program, or PUVMP. The DOTR encouraged operators to consolidate in servicing rationalized routes and established the EDSA busway. The DOTR also implemented technology-driven initiatives aimed at curtailing the spread of the contagion while also making services more efficient. DOTR agencies introduced technology-based and data-driven innovations in the conduct of processes to decrease face-to-face transmissions, reduce processing time, provide more efficient and quality service, and at the same time, eradicate opportunities for corrupt practices. The DOTR also mandated the shift to electronic or contactless payment systems, such as automated fare collection systems and RFID tags in tollways, online processing of transactions, electronic booking and ticketing, use of artificial intelligence, and online contact tracing, among others, while allowing existing light rail transit lines and railway services to resume operations. The DOTR is fast-tracking completion of existing rail and subway projects and reviving shelved projects. These include the major rehab of the MRT-3, LRT Line 1 extension to Cavite, the LRT Line 2 extension to Masinag, the Common Station, the North-South Commuter Rail, the PNR Bicol Railway Project, and the Mindanao Railway Project. The DOTR noted that for decades now, only 77 kilometers of railway were operational. It is now fast-tracking the long-delayed expansion of the country's rail network to 1,900 kilometers to benefit around 4.5 million passengers daily. It pointed out that, had the subway project that was first conceived in the 1970s, the LRT-1 Cavite extension approved by NEDA in 2000, and MRT-7 project submitted to DOTR in 2002, been implemented earlier, the light transit and railway network would have had more capacity and reach to transport more people even with physical distancing. At the same time, the DOTR is also encouraging a return to basic forms of mobility that are not only healthy but also help protect the environment, like walking, biking, and the use of other non-motorized modes of transportation. Authorities are establishing protected bike lanes to connect major roads, residential areas, and high-volume commuter areas to major medical facilities, initially in Manila and Quezon City. The DOTR is also developing pedestrian facilities around key rail stations to encourage walking as an active transport. Under the EDSA Greenways project, covered and elevated walkways leading to and from the rail stations and nearby commercial areas will be built. Phase 1 of the project will be undertaken at Balintawak, Cubao, Guadalupe, and Taft Avenue. The DOTR said all these are being done to usher in a new normal for mass transportation that not only helps the country overcome a pandemic, but also drives the economy forward to growth.
Transport authorities are to be commended for many of its initiatives to ensure public transport. Safe public transport is being made available to so-called frontliners, essential workers, and employees returning to work after months under lockdown. However, much needs to be done. Initiatives seen to work needing expanding. Initiatives that are not working as expected needing tweaks. New problems surfacing needing solutions. That's our Motoring Forum this week, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines.